The Okafor mansion stood tall on the edge of the village, its walls painted cream with red tiles that glistened in the morning sun. Inside, servants moved about with trays of food, but at the long mahogany dining table sat only two people, Chief Okafor and his son, Chaik. Chief Okafor, in his 60s, wore a flowing white agbada. His eyes were heavy with worry as he stared at his son. Chaik, the old man began, setting down his cup of pap. "You're 30 now. All your mates are married, raising families. When will you bring me a wife?" Chaik leaned back in his chair, adjusting his gold wristwatch with arrogance. "Papa, stop worrying. Marriage is not by force. These village girls, all of them after my money. I don't need a parasite in my life." Chief Okafor slammed his palm on the table, startling the servants. "Chaik, marriage is not only about you. It is about legacy, about family, about the name I built with my sweat." Chaik smirked, rising to his feet. "Papa, your legacy is safe. As long as I'm alive, the Okafor name will not die, wife or no wife." The old man's heart sank as he watched his son stride out, car keys jingling. The roaring sound of Chaik's Mercedes filled the compound, then faded as he drove off recklessly. Chief Okafor closed his eyes, whispering, "If arrogance is not cured, wealth will become his destruction." That evening, Chief Okafor sat in his study with his lifelong friend, Pan Naji, a frail man with a staff. The air smelled of old books and burning candles. "Brother," Chief Okafor sighed, "I'm afraid for Chaik. His pride blinds him. If I leave the world today, who will guide him?" Pan Naji leaned forward. "Okafor, remember what our fathers taught us. A man who marries beauty without character builds his home on sand. Your son is right about one thing. Many women today are after wealth. But how will you find a true one for him?" Chief Okafor's eyes sharpened with an idea. "I will test them." "Test them?" Pan Naji asked, puzzled. "Yes," Chief Okafor said, rising from his chair. "I will disguise myself as a beggar. I will wander the markets, the streets, the compounds. The girl who shows me compassion, despite my rags, will be the one I choose for Chaik. If she can love a beggar, she can endure anything." Pan Naja's eyes widened in awe. Okafor, only you can think of such a plan. But may your son accept it when the time comes." Chief Okafor looked out of the window into the darkening sky. "If he does not accept, then he will learn the hard way. Better to be mocked for wisdom than to lose everything to foolishness." The next morning, Chief Okafor shed his agbada, his jewelry, his polished shoes. He wrapped himself in torn rags, rubbed dust on his face, and limped with a stick. In the mirror, the mighty chief had vanished. Only a beggar remained. At the bustling Quo market, the air buzzed with shouts of traders. "Buy pepper, fresh pepper. Tomatoes, sweet tomatoes." The smell of fish and roasted yam filled the air. Chief Okafor, hunched and trembling, stretched out his hand. "Biko, help me. Just small food for an old man." A group of young women laughed, their jewelry jingling. One sneered, "Look at this dirty man. Instead of dying quietly, you're disturbing us." She flung a rotten orange at him. The others joined in, mocking his limp. He turned to another stall. "Neen, please, just a little." The woman snapped, "Move away. My customers won't buy if they see you here." She shoved him until he nearly fell. Everywhere he went, insults followed. "Lazy man. Why don't you go and die? Look at his smell." Chief Okafor's heart broke, not because of the mockery, but because these same women were the ones who dressed fine, praying to marry rich. None could see beyond his rags. As the sun burned his back and laughter filled his ears, he whispered, "So this is how hearts are truly revealed." Just when his spirit wavered, Chief Okafor staggered near a roadside where smoke rose from a small stand. A young woman, Adaeze, sat by a wooden table, fanning the fire beneath her roasting corn. Her wrapper was faded, but her eyes shone bright with life. "Papa," she called softly as she noticed him struggling. "Come, sit here. The ground is too hot for your bones." Chief Okafor blinked in surprise. "My daughter, will you not chase me away like the others?" Adaeze shook her head. "Why would I? Hunger is not a crime. She broke a piece of roasted corn and handed it to him. Eat. You need strength. His hands trembled as he took it. But I have no money. Keep your money. Adaeze smiled warmly. One who gives to the poor lends to God. Eat, Papa. As he chewed slowly, tears welled in his eyes. Around him, passers-by whispered mockery. Can you imagine? Adaeze, the corn seller, wasting food on a useless beggar. No wonder she is poor, giving instead of selling. Adaeze ignored them, fanning the fire gently. Papa, let them laugh. A good name is better than riches. For the first time in days, Chief Okafor felt peace. In this girl's kindness, he saw a glimmer of hope. The following day, Chief Okafor returned in his disguise. Adaeze welcomed him with the same smile, giving him corn and water. On the third day, she offered him a mat to rest. On the fourth, she defended him when boys threw stones, chasing them away with her broom. Each day, her kindness grew, not for show, but from her heart. At night, Adaeze sat in her small hut, counting her meager earnings. Her stomach growled, but she smiled, thinking, at least Papa the beggar ate well today. Meanwhile, villagers gossiped louder. Adaeze is cursed, feeding beggars instead of saving for her marriage. Who will marry such a foolish girl? But Adaeze only whispered a prayer before bed. God, bless Papa wherever he sleeps tonight. And miles away, Chief Okafor lay on his soft mattress in the mansion, his disguise folded by the bed. He smiled to himself. If my son cannot see her worth, then I will open his eyes. The sun was high, and Nquo market buzzed with noise. Adaeze sat by her fire, turning corn with steady patience. Suddenly, 2 market women approached, their wrappers tied tightly as they fanned themselves dramatically. One whispered loudly, look at Adaeze, oh, every day feeding that useless beggar as if he is her husband. The second woman chuckled. No wonder she has no suitors. Who will marry a girl who spends her life with dirty old men? Their laughter carried, and other traders joined in, their voices laced with mockery. Maybe the beggar is her secret father. Or maybe she thinks feeding him will bring her riches from heaven. Adaeze raised her head slowly, her eyes calm but firm. Mock me all you want. I'd rather be mocked for kindness than praised for cruelty. The women gasped, insulted that she dared reply. This girl has a sharp mouth. Don't worry. When hunger finishes you, you'll understand life. But Adaeze returned to her roasting, humming softly as if their words bounced off her. In the shadows, Chief Okafor, still in disguise, watched with quiet admiration. Even under ridicule, she stands firm. This is not ordinary character. This is strength. Chief Okafor knew it was time to push her heart further. That afternoon, under the scorching sun, he staggered into the market square, dragging his stick. People hissed and turned away. Suddenly, he fell heavily onto the dusty ground, groaning loudly. The beggar has fainted, a man shouted, but instead of helping, the crowd laughed. Let him die there. Less burden for us. Serves him right for disturbing our market. But Adaeze dropped her basket and rushed to his side. Papa, Papa, can you hear me? She knelt, cradling his head on her lap. His face was pale with dust. Without hesitation, she tore a piece of her wrapper, dipped it in water, and wiped his face. Help me carry him, she begged the onlookers. But they folded their arms. You and your beggar, carry him yourself. Adaeze's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't stop. She struggled, lifting him with all her strength, dragging him toward her hut. Sweat poured down her face, yet determination burned in her eyes. When she finally laid him on her mat, she boiled the little yam she had left and fed him spoon by spoon. Chief Okafor, pretending to recover, whispered weakly, My daughter, why do you care so much? You don't even know me. Adaeze held his hand gently. I don't need to know you to love you. Humanity is all the family we need. And for the first time in years, tears rolled down the mighty chief's cheeks. That night, in his mansion, Chief Okafor removed his rags and sat in his silk robe. The glow of the chandelier lit his thoughtful face. Pa Naji entered, leaning on his staff. My friend, you look troubled. What did you discover? Chief Okafor smiled faintly. I have found her, a girl who sees beyond rags, who gives her last meal to a stranger. She is the one. Pa Naji nodded. And your son? Will he accept? Chief Okafor's face hardened. He must. Chaik does not need another beauty queen to inflate his pride. He needs a wife who will humble him, who will teach him what true wealth is. He poured palm wine into 2 calabashes, raising his own. To Adaeze, the girl mocked by many, but chosen by destiny. Pa Naji tapped his calabash to his. To Adaeze. Meanwhile, in her hut, Adaeze prayed aloud, Lord, bless that beggar wherever he is tonight. If all I can do is feed him, then let it be counted for good. Little did she know that her destiny had already shifted. 3 days later, a black SUV stopped at Adaeze's stall. 2 stern-looking men in suits stepped out. The entire market froze. Are you Adaeze, daughter of late Okonkwo? One asked. Adaeze's hands trembled as she nodded. You are requested at Chief Okafor's mansion immediately. Gasps erupted. The women who mocked had dropped their baskets in shock. Adaeze? In the chief's house? What business does she have there? Maybe she stole something. Or maybe the chief wants her as his maid. Fear gripped Adaeze, but she followed the men. Inside the car, her heart pounded. Why would a rich man like Chief Okafor send for me? As the SUV rolled past the iron gates into the sprawling mansion, Adaeze's eyes widened at the luxury, polished tiles, fountains, marble statues. She clutched her wrapper tightly, feeling out of place. When she entered the grand hall, Chief Okafor descended the staircase, not in rags this time, but in his regal igbada, his eyes locked on her. Adaeze gasped, stumbling backward. Papa? Chief Okafor approached slowly, his voice gentle but firm. Yes, my daughter. I am the beggar you fed, the man you carried to your home, the one you defended when the world mocked. Adaeze's knees buckled. No, it cannot be. All this time. He nodded. Yes, I wanted to see the heart of the world, and you showed me yours. When others scorned me, you gave without expecting. That is why you are here, because you are the one I choose, for my son. Adaeze's eyes widened in shock. For your son? But I am only a poor corn seller. Your people will laugh. Chief Okafor placed a hand on her shoulder. Let them laugh. They mocked you when you gave to a beggar, but soon they will bow before you as their madam. Adaeze, destiny has chosen you. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she whispered, But will your son accept me? Chief Okafor's eyes darkened. Whether he accepts or not, the die is cast. A throne built on pride will crumble, but one built on kindness will stand forever. You will be my son's wife. At that moment, the doors burst open, and Chaik walked in, his face twisting in anger at the sight of Adaeze standing in his father's mansion. The storm was about to begin. The great hall of the Okafor mansion echoed with tension. Chaik, dressed in his designer shirt and jeans, froze at the sight of Adaeze standing timidly beside his father. Papa, what is this nonsense? Chaik barked, his voice bouncing off the marble walls. Why is this market girl in our home? Adaeze lowered her head in shame, her fingers twisting her wrapper. Chief Okafor's face remained calm but firm. Chaik, this young woman is Adaeze. She is the one who fed me when I was hungry, who carried me when I fainted. She has a heart purer than gold. She is the woman I have chosen to be your wife. Chaik's laughter rang out, sharp and bitter. My wife? Papa, have you lost your mind? You want me, Chaik Okafor, to marry a corn seller? What will my friends say? What will this village say? Adaeze's eyes glistened with tears. Chief, please. I did not come here to cause trouble. Let me go. But Chief Okafor raised a hand. You will not leave. Chaik must learn that pride does not build a family. You mock her because of poverty, but one day you may kneel before the same kindness you despise. Chaik stormed out, slamming the door. The mansion shook with his anger. Adaeze whispered, trembling, Chief, your son hates me. Okafor's eyes softened. He will see. In time, he will see. Later that night, father and son clashed in the study. Books lined the walls, but their words were sharper than any sword. "Papa, I will not marry her." Chaik shouted, pacing furiously. "Do you know how many wealthy families are begging me to marry their daughters?" Chief Okafor's voice thundered. "And what have those daughters shown you? Beauty without compassion, riches without humility. You need a wife who will keep your heart, not your wallet." Chaik scoffed, throwing his hands up. "So you want to disgrace me before the entire village? Marry me to a commoner." Okafor leaned forward, his eyes piercing. "Chaik, listen to me. Wealth can buy respect, but it cannot buy loyalty. This girl you call common gave her last food to a beggar. If she can love the lowest, she can love you beyond riches." Chaik's lips quivered with suppressed rage. "I will never accept her." Chief Okafor's voice dropped, calm yet unyielding. "Then you will remain unmarried until you do. You are my son, but my blessing will never follow pride. Adaeze stays." Chaik stormed out again, his heart torn between defiance and the sting of his father's words. The days that followed were suffocating. Adaeze remained in the mansion, helping the servants, sweeping the compound, even cooking in the vast kitchen. Chaik avoided her, but sometimes their paths crossed. One morning, as Adaeze carried a tray of food to the dining room, Chaik blocked her path. His voice dripped with sarcasm. "So, Madam Cornseller, do you feel at home in my father's palace?" Adaeze lowered her eyes. "I do not seek comfort here. I only do what is right." Chaik smirked. "Right? Washing dishes, scrubbing floors? Is this what you call being a wife to an heir?" Her quiet reply stunned him. A wife is first a servant of love, before a queen of riches. For the first time, Chaik was speechless. He watched as she placed the food gently and walked away, her dignity unbroken. That night, he lay awake, replaying her words. Something about her calm spirit unsettled him. Fate struck a week later. Chaik returned from a late-night outing, drunk and staggering. By morning, he was shivering with fever, his skin burning hot. The servants panicked, unsure what to do. Adaeze rushed in, laying a wet cloth on his forehead. She brewed herbs, spoon-fed him water, and stayed awake by his side through the night. In his delirium, Chaik mumbled, "Why are you here? Leave me. I don't need your pity." Adaeze whispered, "This is not pity, Chaik. This is care. Even if you hate me, I will not hate you back." By dawn, his fever broke. He opened his eyes slowly and saw her sleeping beside the bed, her head resting on the chair, her hand still clutching his. For the first time, guilt pierced his heart. He whispered to himself, why would she stay if her heart was not true? But while his heart softened, the outside world grew crueler. At the village square, tongues wagged. Women laughed as they pounded yam, their bracelets jingling. "Have you heard? Chief Okafor wants his son to marry Adaeze, the corn seller." "Adaeze? That wretched girl? Tufiakwa. It's a disgrace. Imagine our heir with a roadside girl. The gods must be laughing." The gossip spread like wildfire. By evening, groups gathered outside Adaeze's old hut, mocking her absence. She must be scrubbing toilets in the mansion now. Even Chaik's friend visited him, jeering. "Guy, any beggar's daughter you day marry? Ah, your father has finished you." Chaik's pride flared, but each time he looked at Adaeze, quietly serving food or smiling at the servants, something inside him shifted. The scandal grew, but so did the silent war in Chaik's heart. Chaik sat on the mansion's balcony late at night, staring at the moon. His once arrogant heart now battled with unfamiliar emotions. Adaeze's words and actions haunted him. Her patience under ridicule, her sacrifice during his illness, her quiet strength. The next morning, he found her in the garden, helping the gardener pluck weeds. You don't have to do this," he said awkwardly. Adaeze looked up, her face smeared with dirt but glowing with sincerity. "Work is not shameful, Chaik. Only pride is." Her words cut him deeply. For the first time, he knelt beside her, helping her pull out weeds. The servants gasped in silence, watching their young master humble himself. Later that day, he caught himself smiling as Adaeze laughed with the maids. A warmth spread in his chest. Could it be Love? But just as his walls began to fall, an old shadow returned to shake everything. Ngozi, Chaik's ex-fiancée, arrived in the village in a flashy car. Dressed in silk and gold, she carried herself like royalty. Villagers flocked to her, whispering, "This is the kind of woman who should marry Chief Okafor's son." Ngozi barged into the mansion uninvited. When she saw Adaeze sweeping the hall, she burst into cool laughter. "So it's true? The heir of Okafor is marrying a housemaid? Chaik, have you lost your senses?" Chaik clenched his fists, torn between anger and shame. Ngozi circled Adaeze like a predator. "Listen, corn seller. Girls like you belong in the market, not in a palace. Stop pretending." Then, in a venomous tone, she told Chaik, "She's only after your wealth. Can't you see? She's manipulating your father with her fake kindness." For a moment, Chaik's pride resurfaced. He glared at Adaeze. "Is it true? Are you playing games with us?" Adaeze's eyes welled with tears, but she said softly, "If kindness is a game, then I have been guilty all my life." She dropped the broom and walked away. That night, Chaik tossed in his bed, torn with guilt and confusion. Deep down, he knew the truth, but Ngozi's poison had planted a seed of doubt. Chief Okafor had seen enough. The next day, he summoned the entire village to the square. The crowd gathered, villagers, traders, gossipers, even Chaik and Ngozi. The chief, dressed in his regal egbada, stood tall. "You all mocked Adaeze. You called her foolish for feeding a beggar. But hear the truth today. I was at Beggar." Gasps filled the air. The market women covered their mouths in shock. "Yes," he thundered, "I disguised myself to test hearts. When you all spat on me, mocked me, and threw stones, only Adaeze saw a man, not rags. Only she gave when she had nothing. That is the wife worthy of my son." The crowd murmured in shame. Ngozi's face burned with humiliation. But Adaeze, standing quietly in a corner, lowered her head humbly. Chief Okafor raised his hand. "True wealth is not in gold or cars. It is in character. And today I crown Adaeze the daughter of this house." The people bowed their heads, realizing their folly. The wedding day arrived, but whispers filled the air like wildfire. Adaeze walked into the church in a simple white gown, no pearls, no diamonds, just grace. Villagers sneered. Is this the best she could wear? Chaik is marrying a joke. This wedding is shameful. Chaik stood by the altar, conflicted. His heart loved her, but the mockery stung his pride. The vows began, but before Adaeze could speak, Chief Okafor rose from his seat. "Before this union is sealed, I have one more gift." He turned to Adaeze. "From today, half of my estate belongs to you." The whole erupted in shock. Villagers who once mocked her fell silent. Even Ngozi's jaw dropped. Chaik turned to Adaeze, tears brimming in his eyes. For the first time, he saw not a corn seller, but the queen his father had always seen. He took her hands firmly and whispered, "Forgive me, madam." Days after the wedding, Adaeze walked through the same market where she once roasted corn. But now, dressed elegantly with grace in her steps, people bowed. "Good morning, Madam Okafor." "May God bless our madam." The same women who mocked her knelt, begging for her forgiveness. Adaeze smiled gently. "I hold no grudges. But let this be a lesson. Kindness never diminishes. It only multiplies." Back at the mansion, Chaik now treated her with tenderness, their love blossoming. Chief Okafor, watching from a veranda, whispered to Pa Naji, "She was mocked, but now she is madam. Truly, the humble shall inherit honor." The story closed with Adaeze sitting on the throne of her destiny, not through beauty, wealth, or manipulation, but through kindness that never wavered.